What's good, everybody? It's your boy A-Dubs Picks checking back in with another YouTube video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the playoff implications of the last week of the NBA season. So today is Tuesday when I upload this, or it will be Tuesday when I upload this. So we have a couple more days left in the season until the playoffs are set in stone, and then we dive straight into the play-in tournament. And nothing is locked in for this whole NBA playoff run. There's one seed, one team that is locked in at the seed that they're currently at, and that's the Detroit Pistons. They're the only one that has a true knowing of where they're going to end, right? We can still see OKC and San Antonio flip. We could see Boston and Cleveland flip. We could see a bunch of these teams start to flip, and then once you even get down in the lower half of each conference, it really starts to get shaky. So there's no telling where anyone's going to end. And NBA has come out and said only one seed is locked in, and I just think that is the craziest thing ever with 1 week left in the season, less than 1 week now, because it ends on this weekend. So it's absolutely insane to think about how nothing is set in stone yet except one team. 19 out of the 20 spots are not locked in. Every single night, man, every single night, entire playoff paths are shifting with wins, with losses, with no matter what happens, it's shifting. So you can go from home court advantage to the play-in in just like 2 games. It's just absolutely insane. I don't remember a finish like this in the NBA season in a very, very long time. So just a few days left. Everything is still on the line. So in today's video, I wanted to break down the standings, the matchups, and then injuries that are going to shape the entire playoff picture as well when playoffs actually come, or these stars going to be in or out. So we talked a little bit. We'll do an Eastern Conference deep dive. I feel like I always start with the Western Conference. Today we'll start with the East. We'll do a deep dive on the East. Obviously the 1 seed, the only team that is locked in where they are at is the Detroit Pistons. They have locked up the 1 seed. They have home court advantage throughout the whole entire Eastern Conference Finals, and they will until they run into Eastern Conference playoffs, and they will have that home court advantage until they run into someone with a better record than them, such as the Oklahoma City Thunder in the finals if that happens. So everyone's kind of just making adjustments around them. This Pistons team has been really, really good, and obviously the best team in the Eastern Conference all season, so props to them. When it comes to, we'll do a full video breaking down like how I think these teams will perform in the playoffs and such, and we'll touch a little bit on it now today. But I don't think anyone wants to see this team early, but as it shapes up and we start to get into better teams as the playoff progresses, I don't know where they shake out, but as it stands right now, they're really, really good, and I wouldn't want to see them in the first or second round. Below the Pistons, we have a battle 2 through 4. So we have the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Cavs. And these guys are all separated by just a few games. I think the Celtics ultimately end up still staying at the 2 seed. They'll stay locked in where they're at 2. They're a couple games up on these other guys. But the Knicks and Cavs, man, they got a lot to play for. You know, the Knicks and Hawks just had a crazy game. The Knicks won off the McCollum full court shot, or like 3/4 courts, 1/10 of a second late out of his hands to win the game. So that win keeps the Knicks kind of where they're at in that 3 to 4 range. And it matters a lot, right? Because the 4 is going to have a harder first round. You got to play a decent 5th seed team. So if you end up as the 4 seed, you might have to, who knows who they're going to play, right? We'll talk about 5 through 10 in a second. But if you end up as the 4 seed, you match up with 5 instantly. In the East, that can be anybody. 2 seed is going to have a little bit cleaner of a path. They'll end up playing one of the lower end teams, like maybe the Heat or the Magic in the first round. But, you know, everything matters progressing for these next 2 teams. I could see them staying where they're at as well. I could see it staying how it is now with, obviously, Pistons, Boston, New York, and then the Cavs. I think that same 4 could stay locked in, but over the next week, we have some games to watch out for. So who knows if those 4 will hold their positioning. Now, this is where things really get real in the Eastern Conference. I mean, this is just, it's complete chaos. It's no other way to describe it other than complete chaos. The play-in war. So you have the Magic, the Sixers, the Hornets, the Heat. And those guys are all hovering around the same record. I mean, the standings, let's just pull up the standings here. Let's see if I can get them pulled up. So the Hawks have made their way into the 5th seed. They are a game and a half up on the Raptors to stay locked into that 5th seed. So they'll probably end up staying there with just a few games left in the season. But anything could happen. After 5, it gets real interesting, though. You go to the Raptors, you go to the Sixers, the Hornets, the Magic, the Heat. Those 5 teams are fighting for 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All of them will ultimately end up in the play-in somehow, some range. But the crazy part is you go from play-in, right, If you're a 7 or 8 seed, you win one game and you're in. If you lose, you get another chance. If you're the 9 or 10 seed, it's one and done. You lose, you're out. You got to win that game. You don't want to end up as a 9 or a 10 seed. And there's a good chance that you can fall from 6 to 9 pretty easily with 2 bad games, depending on what the rest of your schedule looks like. So that's just insane, right? Because at the 7 seed, you have 2 chances. 8, you're still alive, but it's a little bit tougher because you got to play the 7 seed. So that's going to be a tough matchup. And then 9 or 10, you both got to win twice. If you lose once, you're out, but you got to win twice. So that's a whole season defining moment there, and where you end in this crazy race. They are separated by half a game. You can drop all the way from 6 to 10 in one game. One game will drop you from 6 to 10, depending on how everyone else performs. So it's absolutely insane to see how this is going to shake out. Personally, would like to see the Hornets get out of that play-in range, get up to the 6th seed, and then see a play-in tournament of the Raptors, the Sixers, the Heat, and the Magic. I think the Heat and the Magic both have been underwhelming this year. Competent rosters just hasn't got it done. I think if it comes down to it, the Magic and the Heat would probably end up losing out of the play-in, but they're definitely going to be at least in the play-in. And when you're separated by one game from 6 to 10, and then 2.5 games from 5 to 10, it's absolutely insane to see how this is going to shake out. The East is just complete chaos, and I don't even know where to go with this. Like, when we look at some key matchups, let me see if there's any key matchups that I marked down here, because there was a few that I had pulled up. Let me see. Like today, for example, Miami and Toronto play one another. That's a huge game for both teams. If Miami loses this, they pretty much lock themselves in at the 10 seed, if you ask me. If they win, Toronto now falls down to the 9 seed. That is a crazy game happening tonight, Tuesday. Charlotte and Boston, another insane game. Not really that it matters much for Boston, but they're barely holding on to that 2 seed. They're 2.5 games up there. They can lose that and drop that 2 seed. The Hornets, if they lose now and the Heat win, now the Hornets are the 10 seed. There's just some crazy, crazy games going on in this Eastern Conference. On Wednesday, we have Atlanta and Cleveland. Absolutely insane matchup. Just crazy. We have Atlanta versus Cleveland. Cleveland, they can fall. I mean, it'd be hard for them to fall out of that 4 spot. But Atlanta, if they drop and the Raptors win and the Heat win and the Sixers win, then Atlanta might drop all the way to 10. That's a crazy matchup to take a look out for tomorrow. Orlando's got to play Minnesota without Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels. How's that going to shake out for them? On Thursday, we have Miami and Toronto. Another heated matchup between 2 teams that are fighting for their lives. Like, what if Miami takes both of these games? Toronto might be a 10 seed. As how well as they started the season, they might end up as a 10 seed. Just absolutely insane. On that same day, New York and Boston. What if Boston loses some of these games to the Hornets, and then they got to play New York and lose that one? Absolutely insane. And then you got Philly fighting for life. Philly closes the season off with, I think Philly plays tonight. No, excuse me. They got to play Houston on Thursday. I thought that game was tonight. They got to play Houston on Thursday. That's not easy for them. And then coming into Friday, we got Charlotte versus Detroit. Miami gets an easy one at Washington. So if they beat the Raptors twice, they got to go play in D.C. and try to keep their hopes alive. We got Cleveland and Atlanta again on the April 10th, Friday. Philadelphia gets an easy one in Indiana. Toronto and New York play. That's not easy for Toronto. Toronto's got a tough schedule to end the season. We got a Miami team fighting for their life against Toronto twice, and then Toronto's got to go play New York, who's playing to stay in the 3rd seed. Orlando gets an easy one in Chicago, which is nice. Just all around, I mean, these matchups are not easy in the Eastern Conference. Sunday, April 12th, last day of the season. So much is on the line for these teams. Cleveland and Washington. So Cleveland gets an easy one. Boston versus Orlando. Orlando is fighting for their life to stay out of that 9 or 10 seed and has to finish with Boston. Like, this next week of hoops is going to be absolutely insane. Philly's got to play Milwaukee, Charlotte and New York, Atlanta and Miami. Like, this is real. Like, this Eastern Conference, the way it's about to end is absolutely nuts. I didn't really look at the schedule as much as I just did right there with you guys. This is going to be nuts. This is an insane finish to the season. And I don't know how it's going to play out. there's no telling, like absolutely no way to predict how these seeds are going to end. It's absolutely insane to see what's going on in the Eastern Conference right now. I mean, wild, man, wild. Let's go ahead and pivot over to the Western Conference, though. Obviously, OKC and San Antonio are in control here. They can flip-flop, but I think OKC has like a 3-game lead, and San Antonio probably not going to catch them. And I think Wembanyama might be hurt. He might not play the rest of his regular season. And who knows after that. So OKC pretty much has control, and then San Antonio's locked in at 2. It's going to be hard to take anything from those two. They're going to be, although it's not official, they're pretty much locked in where they're at. And then this is where it gets crazy in the West. So in the East, they got a little crazier, 5 through 10. This is really where it gets crazy in the West, though. It's 3 through 6. And really 3 through 5 is insane because playoff implications there. If you're the Nuggets, you get to play. If you end up as the 3rd seed, you get to play the 6th seed. If you're 4 and 5, you got to play one another. And honestly, the way the standings and the schedule looks, I did look a little bit closer at the Western Conference schedule, and there's some key matchups in there. But honestly, the way it's gonna shake out, I could see it staying exactly how it is. The Thunder and Spurs locked in at 1 and 2. Nuggets, Rockets, Lakers, T-Wolves are the top 6. And then the play-in is Suns, Clippers, Blazers, and Warriors. And I don't know if there's much going to change there. Now, Clippers and Blazers are going to come down to a tight one. Only half a game separate them, and the Clippers have that lead. They both have won 40 games. So the Clippers have the advantage there to stay at 8 and try to be one and done in the play-in, but if they lose, they get another chance. But I could see it staying exactly how it is. I don't see the Suns making a 3-game jump to get out of the play-in. I don't see the Timberwolves making a 3-game skid to fall into the play-in. Really what we have to watch moving down the stretch for the Western Conference is where do the Nuggets, Lakers, and Rockets fall. Those are the 3 we got to watch out for because it matters a lot. If you're the Lakers, Rockets, or Nuggets and you somehow magically end up as that 5 seed, you lose home court advantage in the first round, which is not good. You don't want to be playing a 7-game series with game 7 on the road. It's just not going to happen. You also if you end up as the 2 or the 3 seed, you end up avoiding OKC until the conference finals if you make it that far and they make it that far. So to end up as the 3 seed would be huge. If you end up as the 4 or the 5 seed, you have to play OKC in the semifinals of the Western Conference. Not good. On the road at that. You have to go to OKC. And the 4 and the 5 seeds, they're just not ready for OKC, quite honestly. If it ends how it ends right now, it would be Lakers, Rockets in round 1. And then OKC in round 2. The Lakers are battered. Luka Doncic might not play round 1. And the Rockets, they're picking up some momentum, right? The Rockets are 8-2 in their last 10. They look solid, but they're just not ready for OKC. I don't know if they're ready for San Antonio either, but if you end as the 3 seed, you do have an easier path to the playoffs instead of ending as the 4 or 5 seed. So that 3, 4, 5 seed matters a lot. And I do think the Timberwolves stay at 6. I think the Suns stay at 7. Clippers and Trailblazers might flip. And then the Warriors will ultimately stay at 10. They're like 4 games back from moving out of 10, but they're 10 games up. So the 10 teams that are in the Western Conference playoffs are gonna stay there, and it just might change a little bit. So let's look at some of the games that are gonna matter a lot going down the stretch. Starting today in the Western Conference, we have not really anything huge. We do have Houston and Phoenix. This matters a lot for Houston more so than Phoenix, but it's gonna be a banger of a game either way. If it's the late night one, national TV spot, playoff implications on the line, that's going to be a good one. Moving to Wednesday, we have Portland versus San Antonio, and then LA's got Oklahoma City. So those 2 teams are fighting for their lives, trying to stay out of that 9 spot, and they got to play the best 2 teams in the conference tomorrow on Wednesday. Absolutely brutal for them. But if one pulls off the upset, great. If they both lose, it doesn't really hurt. So, I mean, they're both fighting for their lives there, which is huge. Denver gets a pretty easy game Wednesday against Memphis. They'll be able to take that. Jokic might drop 57, 82, and 12. No lie, he might spaz. Thursday, not much going on in the Western Conference. It's a lot of Eastern Conference games. Houston does play Philly. Philly's fighting for their life out east. The Rockets have major playoff implications like we talked about. They went in as the 3rd seed. And then Lakers and Golden State, same thing. They went in as the 3 seed. Golden State's not going to move out of tens. More of an Eastern Conference day on Thursday. Friday, things pick up, though. We got OKC in Denver. San Antonio gets an easy one against Dallas. Minnesota and Houston on Amazon Prime. That'll be beautiful. Phoenix and Los Angeles. And then LA and Portland. Friday, April 10th. That's going to matter a lot for the Western Conference. LA and Portland fighting for that 9 seed. 8 or 9 seed matters a lot in that play-in tournament. So they're fighting for that, coming off 2 games against the best teams in the conference. Who knows what's going to happen there. And then on Sunday, to round everything off, we got Denver, San Antonio. So Denver's got a tough way to finish the season. Houston gets it easy. They get to play Memphis. LA versus Golden State. And that might be a play-in preview, LA and Golden State. So the Clippers and Golden State. So and then Portland gets an easy one against Sacramento. So if the Clippers want to stay out of that 9 seed, they got to win some games. They got to win some tough ones. And Portland gets an easy one, Sacramento. That's really it, though. I mean, the Lakers get Utah. So, I mean, when looking at the last couple of games of the season over the next week or so, things really are shaping up to everything's going to change from where they're at now. Nothing's going to stay locked in. And it's absolutely brutal to see. So one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit in this video as well is the Lakers injuries. Super unfortunate. I feel like they were just starting to get everything together, right? The Lakers were. And then Luka and AR are out indefinitely. There's no timeline. So when they return, they're both going to Europe to get special procedures or something. It's hard to tell when they may be back and what that may look like for the Lakers. If they draw a Houston or a Denver or anybody really in the first round besides the Timberwolves, because if they land as 3, Timberwolves are 6, that could be an underwhelming first round matchup because Anthony Edwards is hurt, Jaden McDaniels is hurt. It's hard to tell with the injury news. Anthony Edwards no one knows when he's coming back. Jaden McDaniels, no one knows when he's coming back. Wemby just left the game early. Nobody knows what's going on with him. There's been no news on it. Cade Cunningham isn't going to play the rest of the season, but is he going to be back for playoffs? More than likely. I think he's ramping up to be back. Joel Embiid and Paul George, Maxey, I mean, those guys were really good to start the season when they were fully rolling and healthy. It was beautiful to see. What do the Sixers look like? Do they even make the playoffs, or are they so injured they won't make it? So there's a lot of injuries to look out for. So, I mean, the reality of it, man, is teams are scoreboard watching. They're watching other teams. Their rotations are changing. These feel like playoff games, every single one of these games. I mean, we went over a ton of them that are going to feel like playoff games. And the bracket is just changing every day. It's being built in real time right in front of us, which is beautiful. So that last day of the season, man, let's just take a look at that again. It's going to be insane. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Every team is on. Every single team is on Sunday, starting from 6 to 8. 6 to 8:30. Every single team is on. And that's Masters Sunday, too. We're coming fresh off the Masters. I don't know if y'all are golf fans on the channel or not, but fresh off the Masters into 6 p.m. last day of the season NBA, I'm hyped, man. I can't wait. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So watch the standings, man. Keep a close eye on them. Let me know down below if you think anything's going to change major, what you want to see. And then also, we're going to do, when the bracket is finalized and settled, we're going to go ahead and give our predictions, at least for the first round. We might do it round by round. I don't know. We'll play it by ear, but it's awesome, man. It'll be a fun way to finish the season. If you guys made it this far in the video, greatly appreciate you. Thank you for rocking with me. Let's keep it going, man. Plenty more to come. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications, all that good stuff, and we'll have plenty more content coming. Appreciate you.